Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Data Exposed. Today with me have Asad. Asad, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Asad Khan. I'm a principal program manager on HDInsight. And HDInsight is a big data service on Azure.
Okay.
And as a part of that, we offer Hadoop platform as a managed service. And today I'm here to announce, under the same umbrella of HDInsight, another new service.
Yep, and which is exciting. I love announcements like this. I love announcements. So today we're going to talk about this new service and this Storm on with HDInsight.
That's right.
This is a streaming as a data streaming as a service, correct?
That is right.
Okay. So what is? Tell us a little bit more about Storm.
Okay, so Storm, originally, it's an open source, high performant, real-time distributed computation platform, which is a lot in a single sentence.
Say that fast 10 times.
Yeah. So basically, again, originally came out from Twitter, then now it's a Apache project.
Okay.
Actually, like 10 days back, it's now the top level Apache project, and it is used in various scenarios. The best analogy is that just like you have Hadoop, which is used for MapReduce over big data, this is used for real-time analytics over big data. And so you can process unbound stream of data that is coming in, and like in their benchmarks, they do like 1 million tuples or like the events per node. But if you look at the companies which are already using, it's like ranges from like big companies like Yahoo, Spotify, Twitter itself, and Baidu, Alibaba. There are a lot of companies. So this is one of the technologies which is tested in the industry. A lot of momentum behind that. So what we do in HDInsight is mostly like what are the open source technologies in the big data space, and then which are tested and which are ready for enterprise. We bring them in and we run them as managed service.
Okay.
And what that means is that it's the same technology which you are already familiar with, maybe already using it on-prem. Now you think about moving to the cloud. You don't want to go through the hassle of every night waking up, making sure it is running. If there's a problem, who do I call? We manage everything for you.
Okay.
So this is just like Hadoop and HBase. Now this is the Storm, which will be available as a service on HDInsight.
Okay. So this is not part of HDInsight. This is a completely separate service that does streaming with HDInsight.
Yeah, so HDInsight is now becoming an umbrella service.
Yep.
So now today, you will go under HDInsight, you will click on it, you can see a Hadoop offering, you can see an HBase offering, which we recently released, and we are having a great response from the industry. A lot of customers are already using it, and now you will see a Storm as a service right there.
Okay.
So yeah, and it is the same as part of the HDInsight offering, and many times it is used with other Hadoop or technologies like MapReduce, and I will get into a little bit about architecture and how people use it. But yeah, it's a standalone service. You can just choose to use Storm as a service for analyzing real-time data.
Excellent. Now we may get to this in a little bit, but you said open source, so that even though it's open source, or is Storm, our service isn't open source, right? Or is that not a true statement?
Yeah, no. So basically, it's an Azure service,
right?
And what we offer is Storm, which is an open source. So
Storm itself is open source.
Yeah. Right? So what that means is that the same way you write your code, whether you write it in Java or Scala, the same technologies, the same apps that you already built on-prem, like lift and shift is super easy. You just take the same thing, just run it in the cloud now.
Perfect. Okay. Excellent. Let's jump in. Tell us more about Storm.
Okay. So
architecture.
Yeah. So basically, I wanted to Storm is interesting because it's rarely used on its own. Like it has things right and left around it. So I thought, like, let's put a very, very simple architectural diagram.
So as a standalone service, it really means nothing. You have to have something you can work with.
Yeah,
right?
and as I explain this, you will understand like what are the needs of the things. So the first thing is that since it is about real-time data, which is coming as a stream, and that is your data, like whether it is sentiment data, click streams, like machine learning, or sorry, machine or sensor data, server log, geolocation, all these data which is coming in. So the
Right.
first thing is that normally people use a queuing service.
Okay.
What queuing services that is like it gives you a guaranteed and a way of like caching data. Even if you don't cache it, basically it gives you the guarantee that you will get a continuous stream.
Okay.
And if the incoming rate and outgoing rate is different, like there is a retention policy in the queuing service that get you around that problem.
Okay.
If the Storm cluster for any reason goes down, then it has to replay the same streams that were coming in before. So the queuing service takes control of that.
Oh, perfect.
So like I have a very easy Hello World demo in the end, and I'm not even using a queuing service. So it just works fine. It just pull my data
Okay, so
off.
you don't need a queuing service.
Don't need it, but like 99% companies who use Storm today, they use some sort of queuing service.
Okay.
Because like once you get into the production, you need that guarantee, and especially Storm has different capabilities.
Right.
One is that at most once, which is like at most it will be the tuple will be processed at least once, and it was like exactly one
Right.
processing. And for those things, like a queuing service really helps
Yeah,
you.
queuing service kind of helps with the guaranteed delivery,
Yep.
right? So if something happens, you can't process one. This says, oh, I can reprocess that one.
That's right.
That request. Okay. Yep, that makes sense. And you can go out to any type of, from the destination side.
Yes. So basically, like if you go and look at different companies and how they are building, like you need the real-time dashboards for most. Like I will give you an example where, like, if you are in manufacturing and you have assembly lines, and you need the real-time analytics because you want to see right there when something fails.
Right.
If the machine is not working properly, or the products which are coming out are not proper, and all that. So you need that sort of like real-time dashboard. Something went wrong. I need to go run and fix
Right.
that.
Okay.
But at the same time, people want to keep for historical reasons, for trends, for more deeper machine learning analysis, the batch data, which can be queried through either, depending on what store you have.
Okay.
And you will see like people sometimes just put it in SQL, sometimes H-based, sometimes just pure in HDFS.
Right.
And that runs some of your other monitoring. So basically, Storm actually has this concept of topologies. And what happens is that there is a spout, and like basically as it shows, basically it's a stream of data
Right.
which is coming in,
Okay.
unbounded stream of data, and each one of them is called tuple. So that comes in, it goes to one of the bolts, and think of bolts is like any sort of processing you want to do on it.
Okay.
So spout is just about how do I get a continuous stream of data.
Yeah, just funnel me the data.
Just
Yep.
funnel me the data.
Yep.
And then the bolt is actually which is doing the thing on what you want to do.
Yeah.
So it could be like I'm just purely doing counts. I'm doing the counts of like number of tweets which are coming in every second. I'm doing aggregates. I'm doing complex processing. I'm doing windowing function. And then I can also use a bolt to write to any other thing.
Okay.
I can even split a stream or join a stream.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
basically these are like built for really like it covers a big spectrum of scenarios that you can
Okay.
go
Right.
you can go into. So similarly, and as I said, like bolts can go and write to any source.
Okay.
Like people use H-base, Cassandra, any type of
Right.
caching store.
So the bolts are really the actions I want to take on the incoming
Yes.
stream of data, right? How
Yep.
many red cars are
Yep.
coming in, or what's going on with my sensor information, things
Right.
like that, right? And then I can take the results of that data and put that either to a dashboard or to any type of data store.
And in many cases, they do both.
Both. Oh, okay.
And so that's why like a very common terminology which is used in the industry is Lambda architecture.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So basically what Lambda architecture is, literally what it does is that literally like you have both things. Like you
Right.
you split it from the bolt, and then you go and put it in a database for trends and historical, and you also send it for real-time analytics.
Perfect.
So yeah, this is the very high level, and the other interesting thing to highlight is like what are we offering and what you bring your own.
Yeah.
So starting from here, of course, this is your data.
Yeah, exactly.
like I can't tell you what your data is. So you figure out what your data is, and from there on, you go and get it in the queue.
Okay.
And so basically, if since Storm is, like as I said, like this is the same open source technology, so it already comes up with the spouts and support for RabbitMQ, ActiveMQ, Kafka. What we have done is that since you are taking a bet on Azure, you are on Azure, so Azure has Event Hub.
Yep.
So we have actually invested a lot of time and energy to build industry standard tested spout for Event Hub, because writing a spout, it takes an effort, because first of all, there are a lot of type of spouts,
Right.
like whether you have transactional, non-transactional, opaque, transactional, trident. So there are like types of spout.
Right.
So basically, we wanted to give you an experience out of the box.
Right. Okay.
You take the thing, it just runs.
Right.
You want one of the open source technologies and use their queuing service? Yep, great. Go ahead and use it.
Okay.
If you want to go and take a bet on Event Hub, which is part of the Azure offering, take it. If you want to use the service bus, the one which was before Event Hub for queuing, you can go and use that. All of those spouts are available out of the box.
Oh, real? Oh, perfect. Okay.
So then it comes here, which is the core of our service.
Yep.
And then it goes there. Over here also, as I said, like a lot of people we are working with in the preview phase are using HBase, which is again another offering, or they put it in HDFS, which is also in HDInsight.
Yep.
So then now it makes sense, like why they are all the technologies under the same umbrella.
Right.
And but if you want, you can bring your own. Like you can use any other data technology.
So it's extensible to a point.
Yeah,
right?
So basically, literally from the bolt, you can go and write anywhere you want.
Okay.
And when it comes to the dashboard, again, like you normally build your own, because again, these are very customized ones. A lot of people are currently using the Power BI. Either they put it in SQL and connect to Power BI, or they put in some store where the Power BI has a connector.
Right, okay.
And then you have a refresh policy, and then you submit it again in the cloud. Now you have a dashboard which are automatically refreshing and providing you real analytics through Power BI. So this is how end-to-end it looks like.
Perfect.
The next thing actually I wanted to cover
Perfect.
was what is our customer promise? Like as I said, like this is an open source technology.
Right.
Are we doing anything more than just picking a technology out there and putting on Azure, or are we doing more?
Are we adding value to on top of Storm?
Exactly, for our customers. And that's a very, very important thing to understand and go into the detail. So these are the top high-level values that we are adding.
Okay.
The first one is easy setup. Like a lot of people love Hadoop, HBase, and all that. But if you pick any of the books on these technologies, like 1/3 of the book is just telling you how to set up the thing.
Right.
Because these are great, but like how do I set up like the head node and the worker nodes, and how do I do this and all that? With us, like on cloud, on Azure, you just get an easy setup.
Point and click almost, right?
Yes, and I will show you after this one. Like you just go there, you say new, you say Storm cluster, size of the cluster, like you can say 256 nodes or whatever, and then you say done. And within 15 minutes, you have the cluster up and running.
Okay.
So that's the number one.
Right. Okay.
The second is high availability. These technologies itself are pretty resilient against failures and they are fault tolerant.
Just because of the benefits of the Azure platform itself.
Azure itself, but these are because build the distributed computational platforms. So whether it is Hadoop or whether it is Storm, they are fault tolerant. So basically, if a node goes down, like it automatically rebalances and nothing fails.
Perfect.
But there are some areas where, like if you're in Hadoop world, like the head node, or in this case the Nimbus node, if that goes down, then although your topology is still running, but you cannot submit a new topology, or you cannot do some operations for which you need the Nimbus until it comes back again.
Perfect.
So what we have done is that actually we run 2 Nimbus nodes. So even if one goes down, we automatically switch the load to the other one. So without user knowing it, like you will always have 2 running, and if one goes down for any reason, it will be shifted to the
Right.
second one. Even if it goes
Cool.
down, it goes to the first one. So basically, enterprise level to get an enterprise level SLA, we wanted to make sure that even that one part we take care of it.
Right.
So.
Okay.
So that is one. The third is elastic capacity, which is like this is, as you said, cloud.
Yep.
Like today, you
Scale up, scale down,
scale
yeah.
up, scale down. Like Christmas is coming, a lot of orders are coming
Yeah,
for
exactly.
my website.
Yep.
Like I want to run a 256 node cluster. I want less because there is no load. My startup
Christmas
is
is
not,
over. Done.
or my
okay.
startup is not doing as well as I expected. I don't want to spend
Right.
like the $10,000 per month, so you
Yep.
can scale down to a one node cluster.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Right.
The fourth one is access to open source spouts and bowls, and as I said, this is the goodness of running something which is an open source, which is something which is companies have taken a bet on it. That there is lot of material out there.
Yeah.
Like I myself, like as I started on this project and started to write a topology and like got stuck in the first 5 minutes. You open a search engine, you search for the thing. There is lot of data available,
okay.
whether it is Stack Overflow or like on different forums.
Right.
Like even the example I will show on Twitter. Like I was like, oh, how do I get the count on the Twitter feeds? And I searched on it. There is a GitHub project. I copied it, bang, compiled it, and
Yep.
it just runs.
Perfect.
So this is the advantage that you go and get out of running an open source.
This is the extensibility type of right.
Yes, and all the improvements like that come with Storm. Like if you are on the next version of the Storm, like whenever the next version comes, we upgrade it on Azure.
Okay.
So whatever the community is putting in terms of the effort, improvement, performance, and all that, you just get it for free. Even
okay.
so it's not bottlenecked by the resources on our team.
Then, speaking of that, so what would be the since it's open source, you take the open source.
Yep.
How often would you do kind of upgrade the Storm service?
So it depends. Like basically, we go and see that what is a big difference. Is it a patch or what? And we do it pretty often actually.
Okay.
So our release mechanism is every month.
Okay.
And if there is something very important, we do hot fixes, which is weekly. Okay. So there's always a train leaving, like either weekly
right.
or monthly, and we take the
but
latest
nothing
one.
that'll break the service, right?
Nothing which will break the service.
Okay, good to know. Okay, good.
So the next one is Azure integration. So since we are on Azure, we wanted to make sure that it should not feel foreign to you that you are running on Azure and it's an open source. Like how do I connect to this? How do I connect? Right. So we provide all those connectors. And as I mentioned, like Event Hub is the primary one.
Right. Okay.
Service Bus in general. If you want to put this in a VNet,
yep.
so that so it's easy communication,
yep.
you can put your Storm cluster in a VNet. You can many people actually we are working with, they put a Storm cluster and an HBase in VNet, so they have full access to all the nodes and everything, so you don't have to go through the REST API.
Yep.
So you have the no performance hit, nothing.
Right.
People even connect their own machines to the VNet, so the submission and everything, like you don't have to RDP or anything like that. So similarly, SQL Azure, like again, we don't have to do much on that. Like through the Bolt, you can write into SQL Azure just with the connection string.
Yep.
So basically, being on Azure, you will feel like anything you work with, familiar service,
yeah.
like they will all work together.
Okay, good.
So the next one is the admin. Like basically, a lot of like when you are an enterprise running a production level service, then you need the right monitoring and all that. Storm actually has a pretty good monitoring dashboard that shows you everything.
Right in the portal, correct?
Right. So basically, it is on the cluster itself.
Okay.
So one of the things which we have done is that we let you we have put that in the context of the Azure portal.
Okay.
So you don't have to do anything from the Azure portal. You say like, show me the Storm dashboard, and you just see the Storm base right there.
Very nice.
So otherwise, like we didn't want you to go and open another things, like try to figure out the UI or RDP to the server and do the thing. So again, just ease of use.
Okay.
So in terms of the development experience and programmability, like all the languages that Storm supports, we support it. One of the major actually investments we have done is that since this is on Azure and we know that most of our customers run .NET, we wanted to make sure that it is a first-class .NET support.
Oh,
so
perfect. Okay.
we have done actually lots of effort to enable that. So
Okay.
so this does not use like the Hadoop like stream in stream out interface through which they support
Right.
all the languages.
Okay.
This is the first-class support for .NET programming, and we didn't stop there.
Okay.
So
Yay.
what we did was that many times, since I mentioned that spouts is really hard to write, right? So there is a spout for Kafka, for Event Hub and all that, and all those are written in Java.
Right. Oh, okay.
So now either we had to duplicate the effort and write all of them in .NET. Otherwise, if you want to do in .NET, you will say, oh, I don't have the spout. That spout is available in Java.
Sure.
So we enabled mixed topologies. So you can use a Java spout
Okay.
and write a .NET bolt.
Yeah.
And,
Excellent.
and we take
Right.
care of all the serialization and everything, and we have done the perf
decoupling
testing.
there, so we're not tied to right.
Yeah, basically, like for you, like you just use that spout, and then you write your own bolts in .NET,
Yep.
and it just
It
works
works.
end to end.
Very nice.
If you have a very complex, your own defined type, then you have to define a little bit of like how do we serialize that.
Right.
Otherwise, like all the native type systems, like they just work.
They just work. Excellent. Okay.
Like SQL-like interface and Lambda architecture. So currently, like Storm has Trident, which is a fluent Java API, which is like you can say this dot, each dot, like
Yep.
you can do all. So that works, which gives you the high-level abstraction.
Right.
But like we are still looking at there are some open source effort already going on, which gives you more SQL-like high-level things, so that you don't have to go in and define the topology. You can just do a SQL-like,
Right.
and it converts that into
Okay.
a topology. We are still looking at that. We have not enabled any of them yet. Like
Okay.
again, the primary thing for us is that we enable an open source technology
Right.
when it is ready.
Perfect.
When it is ready for Microsoft customers, which are normally the big enterprise customers.
Okay.
The last one is Lambda architecture. So as I said, like people build the Lambda architecture. So there is an effort which is called a Hummingbird.
Okay.
They give you that out of the box, the whole Lambda architecture. So
okay.
you write one query,
Yep.
they will actually convert it into a batch query and real-time query.
Ah,
That is one thing we are still looking at
Right.
it. It's not available in preview. Depending on the feedback, is that the right thing to enable? We will go and look at. So if people have feedback, that's the great thing to get a feedback
Always
on.
interested in your feedback, right? Yeah. Okay. Good. This is excellent. This is great background and great functionality as to what we're providing. I think, and the key here is that we're not just saying, hey, we're taking Storm and saying, there you go, right? It's value add, right? We have to
Right.
provide value add.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. So let's jump out and look at a demo.
Yes, let's look at it. So again, as I said, very, very simple demo. This is written in Java.
Okay.
And what it does is that it just connects to it uses the Twitter Stream API.
Okay.
So I created an account on Twitter. They gave me my username and username, which I just hard coded here.
Okay.
A bad idea, but I will not share the code. And from there, what I do is like I get the tweets which are coming in.
Yep.
And then I can pick a topic. So I just put mobile. We can change and experiment
Right.
how many tweets are coming for
Right.
what. And then I go and process it. So basically,
Okay.
I will actually start with the topology because we have heard that quite a
A lot,
few
yep.
times here. So basically, topology is like where you are defining like how you join my bolts and my spout. And this is very simple because there is only one spout and one bolt.
Yeah. So very simple. Yep.
Yep. So basically, this is my Twitter sample spout.
Okay.
And then I have a language count bolt. What it does is that it looks at the tweet which is coming in, and it then looks at what language it is in,
Oh, perfect. Okay.
and then it does a count on the language. So there is one in English, one in Portuguese, one in this, and does.
Right,
so I keep
okay.
a count. So very, very
Okay.
simple. You can replace it with anything. You can say like I want to see how many people are. You can say in mobile how many people are talking about iPhone versus Samsung. Sure,
Right.
that is possible. And again, like people have done very, very complex thing in
Okay.
Storm. So like actually last week I was talking to one of the potential customers who are interested. They do analytics on social, and they actually gather 150 million conversation a day. So they get data from Twitter, Facebook, blogs, and all of that.
Wow,
So 150
okay.
million conversation comes in
Per day, yeah.
and they are running a 40 node Storm cluster.
40?
40
Okay.
node.
Good.
And so this is like, that's why like technology is tested, people are already using it, and they were interested in having a conversation of like,
Okay.
if they want to move into the cloud, what do they have to change?
Right,
And
okay.
again, nothing much has to change because the same thing which they have built on-prem just works.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
so this is the
This is very nice.
topology, and then this is the count bolt. As you can see, very, very simple. In the execute is where all the fun happens. So I'm just doing a counter and adding that
Okay.
and in this case, I'm just writing it to the SQL server.
Okay. Cool.
So I will go ahead and compile it, and I'm using Maven for this. So I will say Maven clean package. It will go, and hopefully I have not touched anything before coming here.
Yeah.
So it just compiles.
Okay.
So I will take the jar file, which is under the targets, and copy it to my cluster. Actually, that reminds me, I have not shown you how to create a cluster.
Oh, yeah.
So let me first show you that, and then I will come back.
Okay.
So this is the Azure portal.
Okay.
I'm sure you have seen it.
Yep.
So
Anytime.
you will go to the new under data services. Here is HDInsight.
Yep.
And as you can see, there is Hadoop, there is HBase, and there is
And a
Storm in preview.
Wonderful.
So you just say new, and then you can say channel 9 Storm cluster. And then you just provide a password. I make sure that I hit all the same keys, and then you just say
Okay.
So now it will go ahead, and actually if I just focus on the HDInsight, as you can see, like it is submitting, accepted, and in few minutes you will have your cluster up and running.
Okay.
So right now, in order to go and deploy the topologies, you have to actually RDP. And that is one of the things which I already had one, so copy and replace. So that is one of the things that we are trying to make it even easier, which is like you don't have to RDP. So from the aux, you can just say, this is my topology, run it.
Run it. Okay, perfect.
So that is something which is not in the preview, but right after that, we will enable it.
Okay.
So we will put a bunch of samples in there, and you can just pick one of those and say, run it.
Wonderful.
If you can say, I have my own jar, which I just compiled on my client machine, you can just go, you can even run that.
Okay.
So now I go to the command line, and what you write is like you just write storm jar, and you just give the name of the long jar file and the class name, and then you say the name of the topology. So you can give any name. You can say Twitter account, and then you just run it. And now if you go and open your, this is the dashboard which I was talking about, which will be accessible through aux.
Okay.
So if you go in here and then you refresh that thing, you can see the Twitter account which I just started.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
And in here you can look at everything, how many tasks are running, how many executors. Like we need a deep down session where I will explain like the parallelism which is in the Storm.
Definitely going to have you back to talk more detail. Yep.
But you can see all that information right here. You can see the status is that it's running. You can click on it. It will show you the how many are emitted so far. So it has now processed 40 tweets because again we narrowed it down to a specific topic. That's why there are not that many.
Yep.
And so this is my spout. This is my bolt. In the bolt, you can see emitted is 0 because that's the dead end. It's not going and
we're not taking it
to the next one.
Yep. Okay.
But if I had 3 bolts, like it would say how many has gone to the next one.
Right. Okay.
And you can click further, and then you can go and see more details around that. You can even go and get to the log files right from here.
Oh, interesting.
So you can, if something is going wrong, you can go and see right there.
Some level of debugging.
Yep.
Okay.
And I put a simple website which actually shows you this is like actually I should have shown it when it was 0, but it is actually showing you real data, and it is refreshing. So now these are 100. So we have like let me see. The pop-up should show. So there are 131 counts on English, and Japanese is popular, like, or mobile is popular over there. But once it refreshes, it will show me.
Okay. And this refreshes how often? Just in this example?
In this example, I do it in every 1 second.
Okay.
But you can like hit refresh right there and like.
Okay.
So 30 counts here, and you see 150. So
30.
it went down.
Wow.
So this is like real time showing you, and just for fun, like what I can do.
Now this is pulling from where?
So this is pulling from SQL.
Okay,
so my bolt wrote it into the SQL.
Okay, so the bolt's not So the bolt's not going to another bolt. It's going into SQL, and this is pulling from SQL.
From SQL directly. Okay. But as I said, like that's your option. Yep. Like I have processed the data, I have give you the analytics you were looking for.
Yep.
Now
perfect.
do whatever you want to go and do with that. So what do you want to do next? You want to change the code a little bit and see how it affects?
Sure. Yep. Just take a couple minutes to change the code.
Okay. So I will
just briefly. You can do that.
Yeah, it should be quick. So what I will go and actually one of the things I will show you is that once you go into the topology, like you can deactivate it, you can rebalance it, you can kill it. All of that is through the Storm UI.
Okay.
So I want to kill my topology. I want to kill it right away. And now we'll go and do a little change over there. So let me reset the database. So I will go in here. Let's see, what we can do is, so since this is doing a very simple thing, which is counting the language, let me write some word which is which shows some other language to go up.
Okay.
I don't know, like we can say Portuguese. So now it will look for tweets which are Portuguese. So hopefully they will be coming in Portuguese language. Hopefully, we will see.
Perfect.
But let's try that. So I compile it. I save it. So it compiled. I will go to this directory and I will pick the latest jar and put it here in the bin. Replace it. And then I will run it again. So now if we go back to our dashboard, so it is 0. Hopefully it will start showing, hopefully someone right now is doing tweets with that thing.
From Portuguese.
Hopefully.
Right.
But it will start to show. And sometimes it takes a second because your topology starts. So yep. Okay. Oh wow. So we have one tweet from Portuguese. Oh, there is another one in English. So PT is for Portuguese and EN is for English. So there is one in Portuguese, but there are 2 in English.
Okay.
So this just shows you like more fun. Right, but as I said, like you can do more interesting things, which is like do it on subjects and see what people are talking about. Like that's what actual companies do. Like no one cares like the language. It's like what is being taught talking about. So again, like Twitter itself uses this technology. Like they have like the last I checked, like 500 million tweets per day. Like I think they peaked at close to 150,000 per second at one point. So like if you go to like Storm on Apache site, like you can see a lot of case studies. Like recently I was looking at like Spotify. They have 40 million active users, and they do the recommendation and the processing and all of that through Storm. So again, this is a technology well tested over time. A big community out there. You can go and search a lot of GitHub. On the GitHub, there's a lot of topologies already built. I showed you the stuff in Java. That's why I use Eclipse. You can fire up Visual Studio, write the whole thing in .NET or do the mix, and it just works equally well. This
is great because it gives you the flexibility, the granularity you need to sort of mix and match and really complement the different technologies together. This is very good. So I think there's plenty of topics that this is a great introduction. This is people are going to look at this and go, this is awesome, right? For the way it plugs into like HDInsight and some of the other technologies, but plenty of topics to be able to dive deeper now into the Storm technology. We'd love to have you back sometime. So Asad, thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It was fun talking to you.
Yeah, this is great. So everybody, thank Asad for coming, but thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you.